all weekend long. Anyway, we have talked at length about the firing of Don Imus and the implications it has. And now it is extended to other radio DJs have been suspended for a bit that they did. You have these groups that are monitoring each and every word that hosts are saying. There's certainly a bullseye on conservative talk radio because they don't like the political opinion of different hosts. Just to take you back, this is how it all got started on Imus's program a couple of weeks back.
So I watched the basketball game last night between a little bit of Rutgers and Tennessee, the women's final.
Yeah, Tennessee won last night. 7th championship for Pat Summitt. Man, they beat Rutgers by 13 points.
That's some rough girls from Rutgers, man. They got tattoos and some hardcore hoes. That's some nappy-headed hoes there, I'm going to tell you that.
Oh, man.
That's some... And the girls from Tennessee, they all look cute, you know, so kind of like a Spike Lee thing.
Yeah. The Singaboos versus the Wannabes, that movie that he had?
Yeah, it was a tough...
do the right thing.
I don't know if I'd have wanted to beat Rutgers or not, but they did, right?
It is a tough watch. The more I look at Rutgers, they look exactly like the Toronto Raptors.
Well, I guess. Yeah.
That's only tougher.
All right, and then after... Imus made multiple on-air apologies. Then he went on Al Sharpton's show. Sharpton refused to accept his apology, pushed forward with the firing, and first he was fired from television, the simulcast, and then fired from radio. Anyway, on our Newsmaker line is the producer of the Imus program, speaking out on radio now for the first time. Bernard McGurk is with us. Well, you missed the business, sir.
Sure I miss the business, Sean. I miss, I'm the guy who likes to work, likes to wake up in the morning and go in and have some fun, and absolutely I miss it. But, I appreciate you having me on and giving me this opportunity to speak out, me lad.
Well, I expect that Cardinal Egan is going to be joining us any minute here.
Jesus, no. Where's me cap? Where's me cup of tea? Where's me mug of tea over here? You schmucksies. I absolutely do. Of course I do. Everybody likes to work. Again, you played the tape. The anger was legitimate initially, Sean. It was definitely, the apology was appropriate. But then it sort of took on a life of itself, prodded by, you know who, by the publicity-starved bully with a bullhorn there, jealous of Barack Obama, and enabled by the inexplicably sycophantic liberal media who indulged this clown, and of course the seemingly spineless broadcast executives, as he apparently mortified at the prospect of this self-serving guy showing up in front of their corporate offices with that bullhorn and busloads of, I guess, paid homeless people. And screaming, and the whole thing at that point, again, initially legitimate, apology appropriate, but he took it to another level, and we were essentially we ran a red light apparently, and received the death penalty here in the United States of America, and
let me go through some of this here. All right, so first of all, he was fired first. Well, I guess the MSNBC dropped the program first. And then CBS followed after. But you were not initially fired with Imus. He was fired alone and first, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
that's right. And I don't, to this day, I really don't understand why I was fired. I mean, I used the H word, the word hoe. But as I said last night, I never received a memo that said that the word was taboo, that it was elevated or lowered to the status of the N-word. Then we got that memo. Of course, we use that word and many others. The B word, we call each other and women, and we refer to Imus's wife, Mr. Imus's wife, as a hoe at times. And in the guise of my Cardinal bit, for example, I did a song parody to the tune of My Wild Irish Rose that I called My Wild Irish Hose. And it made, we talked about, drunken Irish women or whatever, and everybody laughed, and it was fine. And all of a sudden, they changed the rules apparently, and we know what happened. It was the invertebrates in suits just apparently, they caved.
You had recently signed a 5-year deal. And it's interesting to me because your term was hardcore hose, but this is a phrase and a word that you used all the time prior to the re-signing of the contract. Is the company saying now that they were unaware of your use of that word, or?
I am mystified, Sean, as to what they're saying, because I have received no explanation. There was no sort of due process. There was no, none of that stuff. But I really can't discuss. They just terminated me, and
Did they say why, or?
No. Actually, no. They didn't explain it. And then that's to be, I guess, worked out with them in the future. And I probably shouldn't say anything about it. But I mean, what we were about was no secret. I mean, we were, it was, if I can cite the example of Rosie versus Trump, that level of exchange where, he's calling her a slob, an animal, and a pig, and she's calling him a comb-over creep. I mean, we engaged in that type of thing daily, on a daily basis, in addition to the political discussions we had. But there was no secret. I mean, even some of our regular guests, Tim Russert, a blubbering fat schlub, Stephanopoulos, a beady-eyed little half a commie, Teresa Heinz Kerry was Senator Kerry's cash cow, stuff like that. Mike Wallace was a two-legged liver spot, a diaper-wearing dinosaur who slept with Amelia Earhart. He's so old. This type of thing, and Imus took the brunt of a lot of that himself. In fact, Imus was savaged on the program. He was he's a cradle-robbing cadaver. As I said last night, we said he looked like somebody who survived a partial birth abortion.
Oh.
He talked about how his hair looks, and I'm saying it's like worried about the curtains on the Titanic after it hit the iceberg. I mean, the way this type of thing. We had his wife sleeping with half the New York Knicks. Her idea of foreplay was trying to take the guy's Rolex. We had his brother fornicating with barnyard animals, and that type of thing. It was that sort of a show, and we went ethnically. We took out Irish people, Polish people. We had FDR faking, having polio just so he can get out of sleeping with Eleanor. I mean, it was that silly. The Southern culture was satirized, made fun of. As I said last night, the Daytona 500 was the Inbreeders Cup, the Rednecks. We'd tell them, go home and brush your tooth, and all kinds. Nobody was spared. Nobody should have been spared. For example, Patrick Ewing, he's looking for a career in broadcasting. He wants to get in the broadcast booth, so somebody better tell him that the word booth does not end with the letter F. I mean, we took everybody out of all races, and not to do so in itself would have been patronizing and perhaps racist. And so it was no secret what we were doing, but it was in that context that these words were used during that, in the aftermath of that basketball game.
Then let me ask you this, because you said the apology was right for Imus to apologize, and when I watched the apology,